Welcome to the Warrior Freedom Service Dogs podcast, where we share inspiring stories of transformation and incredible impact of service dogs and veterans' lives. I'm your host, Monica Piper with Warrior Freedom Service Dogs, and I'm the executive director. Today, we're joined by Josh McGinnis. Beyond his role in mortgage industry, Josh is a passionate supporter and board member of Warrior Freedom Service Dogs. So we're going to do a rapid fire round. So what's your favorite spot in Chattanooga?
Favorite spot in Chattanooga is always changing. Right now, I'm on a St. John's kick.
Okay, St. John's. Oh, I haven't tried it yet, but
I like their
heard
new
it's good.
location a lot.
Yeah.
I love their old location, but I think their new one is just better.
Cool. Describe your ideal weekend getaway.
My ideal weekend getaway is Asheville, North Carolina. My wife and I almost every single year go up there.
Oh, wow.
We did this last year because of issues in North Carolina. But we go to Grove Park Inn and we spend a weekend at the spa and relax, read. I do a lot of business thinking, kind of plan out my next year and everything. It's one of my favorite trips.
One piece of advice you'd like to give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
Fail quickly, fail often, and keep moving. There's an old story, it's probably fake, but of a teacher who taught pottery. And the teacher divided the class into two groups. And to one group, she said, all semester long, you're going to work on one piece and you're going to be graded on that one piece. That's your final presentation piece. And so however you want to approach it, you can do whatever you want. Like your grade is going to be based on that one piece at the end of the semester. To the other half, she said, your grade is going to be based on the total weight of all pottery created this entire semester. Doesn't matter how good it is. It's just based on how much you can produce. And every single person in that group that was judged on total production, their final piece was better than everybody in the other class. And so the moral of this story is it is through the failures that you learn your craft and you're able to succeed. Most people view failure as such a negative thing that it can be crippling. And truly, failure is one of your greatest friends.
Yeah.
And it is not the end of the world. And so you keep moving forward and you'll get to success.
I know I failed a lot. And I am happy for that.
Yeah.
So if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
The first name that pops into my head is going to be a crazy one. Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
I know. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. No, not that crazy. I mean, he's an interesting guy. So.
Oh, he's interesting. He's very interesting. Mike Tyson, because I think he is a man who has really, really deep hurt. And I actually feel pretty sorry for him. And I just find him absolutely fascinating.
I think I've seen him one time in Vegas when I lived there, just like with his security guards and everything, and looked like him, but I didn't get like a close up. But
if it was somebody who was past, I'd have to pick Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
So, and I picked him. Mr. Rogers is actually one of my values. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
It's love like Mr. Rogers. He loved people so well. He had a mission and he really wanted to help children learn how to manage hurt and disappointment. And everything he did was in line with that mission. And he just always placed such a high priority on people. And everybody he came in contact with, he left a positive impact on their life. And there's not a lot of people that can say that. But I don't think anybody loved people as well as Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Definitely. Okay, so final thoughts. What message would you like to share with our listeners about the importance of community involvement in supporting our veterans and supporting Warrior Freedom Service Dogs?
You know, I think war is a horrible thing. I've never faced anything like that. I've got plenty of family members who've been in the military and have served. A lot of friends who have served. But war is horrible, and I'm fundamentally against war. However, war also obviously has its place. Like you have to be prepared to combat evil. I don't agree with every war that the United States has ever been in. I don't think we've always been in just wars. I think there's a number of them that have been more political in nature. But veterans, they sign up. They sign on the dotted line. And they literally give their blood, sweat, and tears. And they sacrifice a whole lot so we can live in relative comfort. We have freedom. We have opportunities. Like your daughter said, like, Mom, if you want to, you can.
Yeah.
And that's fundamentally the message in the United States. If you want to, you can.
Yeah.
You have to make the right decisions. You have to make the right sacrifices, but you can. Veterans help make that possible.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we don't care for veterans very well when they come home. And that's why the VA gets a bad reputation.
Yep.
That's deserved. Much, much better, but still
Mm-hmm.
a deserved reputation for being just kind of a disaster when it comes to medical care for veterans.
Right.
Historically, I'm speaking historically. Massive, massive improvements over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's only right that we make small sacrifices when they gave and sacrificed so much. When you think about it, we're talking about a few dollars a month for people. For businesses, a few dollars more. But at the end of the day, we're not even talking about a sacrifice that's going to actually hurt you financially. We're talking about a very, very small price. And I think that price should be paid back to our veterans because of what they did and what they gave so that we can maintain our freedom, our sovereignty, and the opportunity for progress.
Yeah, beautifully said. One thing, they say, or maybe they don't say this, but something I think about, they teach you to go to war and, be ready to go to war, but they never teach you how to come home and
how to turn it off.
And that's the one thing that with Warrior Freedom Service Dogs, we're able to, with the help of a dog, find home again.
Crazy, isn't it?
And save a life. A lot of our veterans, they feel that, we've saved their lives in so many ways just with a dog.
Yeah, you have.
And it's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's not only, like you said, is it impacting the veteran, but the whole family and the friends and everyone involved in that situation. They see that improvement, and it's just amazing what dogs can do.
Also, it's cheaper than the alternative. So you got to look at it like
That's
that.
true.
Look at it if you want to look at it from a budget standpoint, I'm fine with that. Placing a dog with a veteran is cheaper than the long-term therapy or the medications or the loss of productivity,
Right.
or God forbid, suicide. Veterans, I think they're like 8 times more likely to commit suicide than the average individual. And we have to be asking the question, why? And what are we going to do about that? How are we going to stop it? I love the story Adam has told a few times where there was a veteran on site and all of a sudden just gets a flashback and how it flips out.
Mm-hmm.
And he just leaves and he's walking down the road. Adam jumps in his truck, sticks the dog in the truck, driving after the guy, trying to get the guy to stop. And the guy is just like spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not there. So Adam pulls up, gets out of the truck with the dog, walks over, hands the dog to the veteran, because the veteran's got to grab it, right?
Yeah.
And the dog puts his nose right against the veteran's neck, in kind of shoulder area, and that helps the veteran snap out of it.
Yeah.
And Adam was explaining to me, I didn't believe him, because I'm skeptical. So I looked it up. And I'm like, that he's right. There is something about dogs that engage the brain in a way where it helps the veteran get out of those episodes. There's a science to it. It works.
Yeah, they say if you pet a dog 10 times that it releases serotonin. So then you can start to relax. And also looking into a dog's eyes releases oxytocin. So it's a lot of science behind, the dogs and, what they do. And so it's more than just, the dog being a dog, but it's also, the training that goes into the service dogs, them learning how to help the veteran navigate and alert the veteran, if they're having an anxiety attack or if they're about to even, because they know before that you're experiencing stress. Because, when you have PTS, a lot of times you don't even notice that your stress levels are higher than, most people. It's a daily thing. And so you just kind of get used to it sometimes. And so,
I call it the emotional Richter scale. So if you think of a scale 0 to 10,
yeah.
When you're on high alert,
Mm-hmm.
you're all of a sudden at like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
Okay. And then maybe something happens and you slowly go back down. You can quickly escalate in fear, but you slowly get better.
Yeah.
And so then you slowly come down to a 6, and then all of a sudden there's another event, and you're back up to that 8 or 9. Slowly come down to a 6, and you're back up to that 8 or 9. Pretty sure you don't even know what's below a 6. 6 becomes your new 0. 8 or 9 becomes your norm. And then all of a sudden you're living with a constant state of stress and anxiety.
And then that causes so many health problems and your body. And it's funny, not funny, but recently, so I go to PT for back pain and neck pain and stuff like that. And so my physical therapist goes, I think it's actually due to you having PTS, and that your body is actually kind of throwing out pain signals where it shouldn't, because you're used to being at a high level of stress. And I don't even notice a lot of the time, like my anxiety.
So I didn't know you'd ever been diagnosed with PTS.
I have.
And by the way, just so everybody knows, PTS is the new version of PTSD.
Right.
I still, out of habit, say PTSD a
lot.
I do too. But what happened is they wanted to drop the disorder. So it's post-traumatic syndrome instead of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah. So, with PTS, it causes all kinds of other things that you don't even think about could cause back pain. And I guess there's a program through the VA that is a specific program for psychology behind those kind of pain signals and stuff. So interesting. But I guess we're getting to the end of the podcast, but before we kind of end, I do want to talk about, so we do have a foster program.
We got to talk about fostering.
We got to talk about it.
Fostering is spectacular.
Yeah.
And this is going back to where I was talking about, like, you can give time or you can give money, and I think the goal is to give both.
Right.
But fostering is a way to give time.
And one of the cool things, and which makes it easier to be able to donate that time, is that we actually pay for everything. So if you become a foster with us, we're paying for all the supplies, the food, the veterinary care, as long as the dog is a foster in the program. And so...
Wait, do you pay for chew toys too?
So we pay for it all, yeah.
Okay.
So any kind of supply, I'm sure that the fosters probably bring them but we do provide all of that. And not only that, but the training, Julie obviously is an amazing trainer. She's been with us forever. So she walks you through the whole process, and she's always there to answer calls if you have any issues or anything going on. That's another part of our program that we didn't really delve into, but even the veterans, like when they have issues, like a couple weeks ago, a veteran went on a hunting trip and forgot their dog food, and they have a dog with special dietary needs.
Oh my goodness.
And so they call Julie, and she walked them through all the labels at Walmart, because Walmart was the only store available.
Oh, wow.
So he was able to find the specific dog food that was okay for his dog for now, for that hunting trip. But, those are the things that, behind the scenes that are going on as well, is just that support. Like,
you've got veterans reaching out all the time.
Yeah.
With needs, even after
yes.
a pain and service.
Yeah. So our program does last for a year. So we pay for everything for up to a full year, and we retain ownership of the service dogs. And after that process is over and the veteran retains the ownership after that year has passed and no issues, a lot of them become mentors. Wayne is an example of that.
The greatest mentor.
There's also several others that have become mentors as
Talk
well.
about the foster stuff, because fostering to me is an amazing opportunity to really bring in, like, especially if you have family with kids.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, my family, we actually fostered a C9 dog. And it was a golden retriever. And we kept that golden retriever for, I think it was a little over a year. It was close to that. And, for the first few months, it was 100% us. And then the golden retriever would leave for like a couple of weeks at a time, sometimes a week, and for training. And that training kept getting extended over that whole year. But as a child, I got to watch how our family had the opportunity to love on a dog that would provide someone with visual impairment the opportunity to navigate on their own.
Wow.
And, my family talked about how, like, hey, you need to get back, and this is a way that we can do it. But this way is kind of like the most fun way, because yes, we're sacrificing, but, we get to go throw a ball, and, golden retrievers love to chase balls. And we get to have a pet for that time period. And then we had to, like, mourn the loss.
Yeah.
And that was hard.
Yeah.
But that was a part of it, because it was like, no, this dog has a purpose. It's going on to something bigger, something greater, to really change someone's life.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing that in Chattanooga, families have that opportunity to do it, but do it locally. Because for when we did it, it was not a local deal. I think it was in Virginia. I'm not positive. I'm not 100% positive on that. But talk a little bit about the levels of fostering.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like one picture.
Yeah. So full-time fostering looks like...
That's like gold level, right?
Yeah, that's the gold level, right? That's 6 to 12 months of your time. So that's one of the hardest things to find, is people willing to do that, because like you said, it is hard to give up that dog afterwards. But we've had quite a few amazing fosters that have supported us and fostered dogs. We have a few that are in fostering dogs right now. Basically, the foster will keep the puppy dog all week, provide early in-home training, provide socialization, attend training with the puppy and dog. So 10 trainings with Julie at the kennel. And then we also sometimes have other trainers come in and assist Julie as well from out in the community that donate their time to, that's one thing that not everybody knows, but we do. She has so many connections and friends that are willing to help support us. We do have an assistant trainer, Allison, who works at the kennel too. So between them, they provide training and then report.
Well, in that level, one of the things I really love about that level is, because it's local, you get to spend the 6 to 12 months raising the dog and forming a great bond. But then you also get a chance to meet the veteran.
Yeah.
And you get to see the family that you helped impact.
Yeah.
I mean, because when we say it's life-changing, that's almost an understatement.
Right.
It is like a dead person becoming a living person. Like, because you guys are dealing with a lot of really extreme situations. And it's like
TBI.
Your life back.
Yeah. So PTS and TBI. So, some of our veterans have also experienced traumatic brain injuries as well. And, those impacts are, different in some ways with PTS than PTS. And sometimes they're coexisting situations as well. But just, the levels of, what these dogs can do to help our veterans is just amazing. I mean, one of the things that we can even train the dogs is to go get medicine for the individual if, that's something that they need. Because not everyone needs the same thing. And so it's all personalized to that veteran. So,
well, the other thing, I'll add this and I'll go back to fostering, okay? A number of the veterans have talked to me about how their dogs wake them up from night terrors.
Yep.
And so we've all heard the stories, with PTS, you all of a sudden have a flashback, you're having a nightmare, and it's a nightmare you can't wake up from. The dogs are trained to sense that. They jump up on the bed, they get on top of the veteran, and they start bouncing on the veteran to wake them up. Oh my God. Like the first time I heard that, like I'm crying. I'm crying, Monica. I'm
I
going,
know.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever had a really bad dream, it stays with you for a long time.
Yeah.
You don't immediately get over it. And so can you imagine having regular nights of bad dreams? It creates darkness, a perpetual darkness. And so a dog can be trained to sense it, wake you up by jumping on you.
Yeah. I know. It's
a little
amazing
thing, but it's life-changing.
It is. And one of the other things that, we do surveys, like before the program and then after getting the service dog, and you'll see, how much improvement for a lot of individuals with their sleep quality, their ability to sleep, because a lot of people who experience
They have insomnia issues.
you don't sleep all the time, or just the night terrors and nightmares, it's a lot. And so, just to get quality sleep, that's, huge, because that impacts your overall health. And so that's just an incredible thing. But I'll get back to fosters.
Let's go back to fosters.
Let's go back to fosters. We can talk about that all day. So full-time fosters, there is a Warrior Freedom Service Dog puppy manual that each of the fosters receives as well, that they can follow. And so that's all for the full-time fostering. So part-time fostering, this is a really cool program, because
this is like silver level now.
This is like, this is a weekend, that you want to take the dog out and bring it back on a Monday kind of situation. You're less of a time commitment. So fosters keep the dog only on the weekends. Dogs are older and have already obtained more training, so they're not puppies.
I want to clarify this though.
Yeah.
They're not older dogs.
Yeah, they're not older dogs. But they're not
puppies.
They're not puppies. They're still puppies,
So
but they're
what
not.
age are these?
They're about like a year and a half when they're old enough to be in the kennel, because it depends on their maturity level. So that's why it says 6 to 12 months versus just having a solid, 12. The dog is really going to be the one that kind of lets you know in a way, because you're going to know, like, okay, this is the time that it's ready to go, do full-time training in the kennel. They have to have that maturity level though. These dogs.
And what's great about this level is like, you still get to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. It's just not full-time.
Right.
It's on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So your work week is kind of set, and then you have a weekend dog.
Yeah. And the other thing that with this part of the program is that it acclimates the dog to being inside a home, because, if the dogs are at the kennel all day, and they're not getting that home training, it's going to be difficult, too, when they get placed with a veteran.
Yeah.
So that's one of the other benefits of the program for the dogs, and acclimating the dog to a family environment. Just same thing. Being in the kennel all day, you don't get that training. You get the other training, which is great. And, obviously, it's well needed, but also getting that family and that socialization really helps the dogs when they get placed. And so you're a part of that process, that extra need that we have, but with a little bit less of a time commitment. And then,
is there a bronze level? I'm making up these.
And now I think those are the only two.
You need a bronze level. I've got it. Okay. The bronze level is families that keep the dogs only when the primary foster family can't.
Right.
So it's like, hey, I'll commit to the week-long deal, gold level, but I got to go on vacation, or I can't take the dog with me.
Yeah.
Have families just say, oh, I'll watch the dog for a week.
That could be an option. I don't think we've done it yet, but, so maybe that's the next level.
I'm not saying it will work.
Maybe that's the next level, but we'd have to talk to Julie. Yeah. One thing I want to kind of end us on, kind of what a service animal is. And so according to Title 2 and 3 of the ADA, a service animal is a dog that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks, and the key word is tasks, for an individual with a disability. So I know a lot of people know, don't pet a service dog. Not everyone knows that, but
They have the signs
most people
on them.
most people know. But here's things that you can ask, like if a service animal is in your business or in an area. And to determine if an animal is a service dog or service animal, you may ask 2 questions. So, is the dog a service animal required because of a disability? And what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? Those are the only 2 questions that you're actually allowed to ask when it comes to, is this dog a service animal?
So I was surprised about this because we were talking about this yesterday. And I was under the impression that you can't ask any question at all. And that's why, I think most people have had an experience with an elderly dog in a public place. Because now it's the popular thing. Oh, this is my emotional support animal.
Yeah.
They have the right to go everywhere I go. And I had one, I told you about it. I'm at a restaurant, table sits right next to me. They bring in a dog.
Yeah.
And you could just tell this is not a trained dog.
Right.
And it acted like an untrained dog, whining the whole time, begging for food, coming over to my table, nudging me for food. And it was like, this isn't how I want to enjoy my meal.
Right.
And it actually really ticked me off because I'm like, there are people that have legitimate needs and properly trained support animals, and you are impeding their ability to function because you're trying to take advantage of the system. But what are the 2 questions again that you can ask?
Is the dog a service animal required because of a disability? What work or task has the dog been trained to perform?
So if they say yes to the first question, you are not allowed to ask for proof. Is that correct?
You can't ask for proof, but you can ask what work or task has the dog been trained to perform. So if you ask that question and the person has no idea, then that dog's probably not a service dog. I mean, Yeah,
but I will tell any business owner out there, if you proceed to kick the person out of your establishment, be ready for a fight and be ready for a video.
Yeah.
Because they are probably doing
right.
And the irony is, though, the people who really need it, they're the ones that wouldn't make a scene.
That's correct. A lot of, the people that actually have legit service animals are probably not going to, fight it. But the people that have unruly animals are usually the ones that might.
We've all seen those videos of people going crazy for something over little things.
But the thing with a service animal or, any dog can be removed if it is not housebroken or is out of control. So if the animal is exhibiting unacceptable behaviors like barking or jumping, owners must use a harness, leash, or tether unless it's safe for the animal to perform tasks. If these are not used, the animal must be controlled by voice or signals. If a service animal is removed, the individual with a disability should still have access to goods and services. Yeah. So if there is a situation like that, it is in your rights that you can ask that person to remove their animal because that dog is not now is not behaving as a service animal.
It's a fine line.
It's a fine line.
Rights.
Yes.
But you can't start asking people, what's wrong with you? That's a clear violation.
And here's just, because we're on the subject, what you're not allowed to ask. You may not ask about the nature or extent of an individual's disability. You may not require proof that the animal has been certified, trained, or licensed as a service animal. There's no official certification. You may not require the animal to wear an identifying vest or tag. So some people don't actually have, vests that they wear. But I think with a majority of service dogs, people will have their vests.
And it goes back to this. The people that really need the dog to be working, to perform a task for them, They want to communicate to the people around. This is not just a pet.
Right.
This is a working dog.
Right. And that's why you'll see do not pet, because you can distract a dog if you pet the dog and, right now the dog is performing a task. It's as a service animal, even if you just see the dog kind of just, walking with the veteran or anybody, doesn't have to be a veteran because other people have service dogs too. But if you see the dog just walking or, hanging out, doesn't mean that they're not working. Because they might be in the middle of performing a task. You don't know what that, the situation is or what tasks that dog is doing. So you don't have the right to go up and just pet a dog that you see because you think, oh, cute dog, but they are working. So you must ask permission. And sometimes.
So that's a good rule of thumb all the time.
Yeah.
Don't just walk up to a dog and start petting the dog.
And teach your kids that too, because, you don't know if a dog's friendly or not. You don't know who you're going up and trying to pet, and it can turn into a situation you don't want to be in. So one last thing, you may not ask that the dog demonstrate its ability to perform the task or work. So
you just ask, has it been trained?
You just ask if it's been trained.
A couple of things that I want to say to anyone who's watching this. First of all, if you're a family, please consider being a donor at some level. Every dollar does make a difference. My kids, over the last few years, they've given a few hundred, not a lot. It doesn't pay for a dog, but it does help pay for some of the expenses. And they get to be a part of that, and they tell their friends about it, and it makes a difference in their life. You can foster and make a difference that way. If you're a business out there, consider giving to Warrior Freedom. Warrior Freedom has a vision to go beyond just veterans, to actually impact the lives of first responders in our community who put their lives on the line by assuming a level of daily stress that most of us will never encounter in our life. I have yet to ever go to work thinking or wondering, hey, is today going to be a safe day? I just go to work. But not everybody has that luxury. Our law enforcement, our firemen, even ambulance, so other first responders, they have a level of stress that we don't know, and we can impact their life. So business owners, Warrior Freedom has a vision to go beyond just veterans into that other area. We also have a vision of buying our own land so that we can have a training facility that will help lower the cost overall. Also, it will allow us to even expand into some income producing streams that could help fund the ministry. And that's how I look at Warrior Freedom. It's a ministry serving those in need with emotional help. And so please, Chattanooga, step up. One of the most giving cities around, something I'm personally really, really proud of. Chattanooga gives more than most cities do, and really encourage you guys to seriously consider giving to Warrior Freedom Service Dogs. If you want to know more about it, obviously I would love to talk to you about it. Monica's a better person to talk to about it, but reach out and make that connection. And also, if you're a business and you sponsor a dog, you get options to help with naming rights. Warrior Freedom does have veto power. You can name the dog just anything you want. Don't get crazy. But then you get to have videos that you promote to your customers, to your employees throughout the year, tracking the progression of this animal as it's being trained to meet the needs of a veteran who has PTS or TBI. So there are a lot of ways that comes back to you in form of goodwill and everything else like that. So Chattanooga, please seriously step up and help make Warrior Freedom more successful and expand the reach to more veterans.
Well said.
This is the place where strength begins, where hope returns and trust